As the leader of the Booner Path, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juice pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports, the Crunch Time Sports Show. Jeff Iafrate and Booner on a Wednesday, on a day of the dock, starting 30 minutes prior to our normal start time because it's free agency. You got to be fluid in free agency. Things happen, and we want to get to the people as quick as possible. I was live today. Everyone who tuned in to that live, I appreciate you. Didn't get to cover a whole lot, but we had some great conversations. But we're going to have some more great conversations today. Booner's with us. I feel like we had a good we had some good therapy yesterday, talking about just free agency. And I know on this show, I'm going to go back to you on your vibes because you kind of hinted yesterday, like maybe there is something that we're waiting for. Update on that. How do you feel? Do you think there's maybe something still we're waiting for? Or are you losing hope as the day goes on?
I actually put a tweet out about an hour ago, and I think the realistic side to all of this is obviously every Lions fan, and we've talked about this a million times. We all have our wish list. Last week I did my top 5 wish list in free agency, and I don't think we've signed one of those guys yet, and I think a lot of them might still be out on the board, to be honest. But I think realistically, we have these. They're called wish lists for a reason because they're wishes. Like, how many wishes have you got in your life, Jeff? Has a genie came down and ever granted you a wish?
No.
Yeah. So, like, at the end of the day, these wish lists are wish lists for a reason. You're probably not going to get any of them. It's like it's one of those things where, hey, it looks cool on paper and it sounds awesome. Getting instead of Cade Mays, Tyler Linderbaum, going and getting Max Crosby or Trey Hendrickson. Like, it sounds awesome in your mind and on Madden, but in real life, they're probably very, very unrealistic things. So I think so far, I think a lot of people are hitting the panic button. One, I'm not hitting the panic button at all because there are still a lot of free agents out there. This is how the process goes. It takes time for these free agents to sign. You did get a center, which you needed. You got a backup running back. You brought Rock Ya-Sin back. You got Rodrigo back. You knew some of these guys were going to walk. So as I get farther into free agency, like, I'm not sitting here like freaking out as much as I think some people are. Dude, I mean, I put tweets out as jokes. Like today I put a tweet out with the Max Crosby thing getting rescinded and then backing out of it. I put a tweet out being like, hey, can we back out of maybe Aleem's contract, or can we swap out Terrion for Cooper DeJean? And there's a lot of people in the comments, it's like a joke. People in the comments, like, there's Lions fans that are wired up right now. And both sides. I'm talking about like the side people who are like sticking up for Brad, and then the side who are going at Brad. And in my comment section, I got both of them in there. So I'm not as worked up. I'll tell you this. Surprisingly, I know some people like Booner gets worked up easily. I'm not as worked up as maybe some people are. Like, I'm actually very comfortable with what's going on. The only thing I'm not comfortable with, and I don't know if you've said this throughout the day today, is you've now grown in holes. And I know that sounds weird, but like in football wise, when you're looking at like the depth chart and you're like, if you're Brad Holmes, I wish behind me, and what I'm going to do one of these days, I'm going to get a whiteboard right here so we could do like depth charts and stuff. In Brad's office right now, he has his depth charts, and he started off with a handful of holes on his depth chart, and more have opened up since free agency has started. And he hasn't signed enough to even come close to filling them all. So that's the only part where I'm like, all right, I am getting a little stressed out in the sense of, hey, I know you're going to make a move. Let's just, there are some guys flying off the board, but there's still opportunities out there, man. But I tweeted it out. You currently have 2 edge rushers, and you have a handful of D tackles, and like half of them are practice squad guys, or maybe more than half of them are practice squad guys. So you really have a defensive line room of like 7 people. In 2 edges. So you don't have a D line right now, and you haven't signed one. So altogether, I think I'm doing pretty good today, Jeff.
Well, you know what? I'm glad. As your friend, I'm very glad. When you're doing well, I'm doing well. But you know what the reality is? I'm not doing well. Okay, I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling nicey, like John Gruden says. I'm not feeling nicey. Okay. Ooh. I set 3 hours. We did a stream today. And we the people are fired up, obviously. So the fan base is fired up. And, there's part of me where it's like, you see the Jared Goff restructure, which I'll show on the screen. And, Jared Goff, we finally got the news. We knew it was coming, but he restructured, and the cap hit, you kind of see the updated cap hit here. The Lions converted $40 million of Goff's salary into a signing bonus, which created about $32 million of cap space for 2026. In 2026, his cap hits 37.6, 2027, 62.6, 2028, 69.6. These are all millions, obviously. 2029, there's the void, $16 million void for 2029. So they only restructured Goff as of right now.
As of now, yeah.
As of now. So we're just operating under that fact until they restructure potentially Amon-Ra or Penei Sewell. And to be honest with you, my takeaway from this is like good. But if you want to do anything in free agency, Booner, and I'm not saying spend a bunch of money, but if you want to do anything, you have to restructure Amon-Ra and Penei, because they got about 30 million, whatever it is. You need about 10 to 12 for draft picks. And then that lead, and you know how Brad operates, they like to have a little bit of money just chilling. They like to have a little bit of money also chilling. So that doesn't give you a lot of room. Maybe you got enough for like an edge, but they need an edge or two. They need a linebacker.
Need multiple.
Probably need a tackle, whether that's it. I think they got to go get someone at tackle that can actually play, but regardless, maybe that's a draft thing. But you know how Brad operates. They want to get a guy through free agency, maybe another safety. We saw some safeties fly off the board at like 6-7 million. Oh, here we go. But you get what I'm saying. There's just a lot of, so they have to restructure.
Here we go.
They have to restructure more. They have to.
Can I ask you a question real quick? Like genuine. So you did the show before this, correct?
Yes.
I want to throw out there, because typically I feel like those guys, and shout out all of them, Will, Justin, and Colton, all good dudes, do a great job. I would say typically more towards the positive side of like trying, putting out there like, hey, did you get a sense of from them, hey, this isn't this, we're worried as well? Or is this just because I feel like for the last week, our show, and typically we're not like this, and I'm not like this, I feel a doom and gloom a little bit from this last week since after the combine. Since we got back from the combine, we start talking free agency. It's Wednesday of free agent week. We've done Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Everything show, it feels like there's the doom and gloom. Not only just our show, the chat, Lions Twitter, and then you have like the 20% of people who are like just fighting tooth or nail for Brad Holmes. In that show, was there a sense of those guys are worried as well, or like a little question, or are we just kind of the outliers here and we need to kind of reel this thing back in? That's my question.
To answer your question, you are right. They do a good job. Justin Rogers, Golden Pouncey,
great job.
Usually they're great people to go listen to. They cover the Lions and they're in the rooms, but they like to, they always have a good perspective on things. I'll tell you what, today, very different approach. It was, it wasn't maybe what I would say, because we do something different. The way they said it was more PC and professional. I crash out a lot, and I admit that. But yeah, their sentiment is like, hey, I understand. I think Colt mentioned, like, I understand getting younger and faster on defense, but like by getting rid of some of these older guys. But the sentiment is basically, you have a lot of holes to fill, as opposed to prior years with not as many resources. And it feels like, just getting the vibe, are you going to go into the draft with all these holes still kind of open, or not, maybe not completely sealed? Because that's a dangerous game to play. So they're a little concerned as well. I'll say that, which honestly has me even more concerned, because usually, like you said, they have a good perspective on things.
I wouldn't even say it gives me more. It's more concern for me. It's more so gives me a little bit of honestly, like a relief, because me, people in the chat, you guys have watched me for years now. I'm typically like a slappy of like everything I'm going to say is positive. Over the last few weeks, it's been different for me, and I don't know. Hey, Jeff, I don't like the feeling, but I've told the people this: I'm always going to tell the truth of how I feel. I'm never going to fake anything. And I've been on Twitter putting stuff out, and people have been going at me on Twitter. It's like a different world I live in, where I feel like dude, I sent you some tweets before I send them. I even sent Easy some and said, hey, like, do you guys think this is fine? Like, I've been getting killed on Twitter. And I'm usually like, I'm never on that side. I'm always on the side of like, Kool-Aid this. And it's like, whoa, this is really weird. I'm glad to actually hear that, like, people who are in that building, like those guys, feel a similar sentiment towards this, because it, as of right now, you have, like I said, here's my depth chart, Jeff. How's it look? Depth chart looks good.
Yep.
It looks just like Brad's. There's nothing on it. No, I'm kidding. That was a joke. But it's gotten smaller and more holes have opened up on the depth chart. And it's so concerning. And I put the tweet out the other day, like, hey, you've lost like these 8 players. You have yet to replace any of them or retain your guys. And it's like, if they really think that Rodrigo is going to come in and replace Alex Anzalone or Derek Barnes, hey, I've got a different world for you. Hey, Lions fans, you guys can all be like, you don't trust Brad until next year, and you're sitting at 9-8 again, and you're having to go through another offseason next year and be like, is Brad going to do something again? And you're in year 3 or 4 of that, like, oh, what's happening? It's a little concerning. Mm-hmm. It feels like, Jeff, honestly, it feels like they're taking a step back and they just went 9-8. And that's like the scariest part of it, that you just went 9-8 and it feels like your roster's taking a step back. Like, you have not improved one part of your roster this offseason. Not one. Not one part of your roster has improved in the last 2 months. Not one. You have literally regressed in multiple spots and lost players. So I don't see where the faith is right as of right now on March 11th, where, and it could change. I think all of us can have our minds can change, but your roster as a whole has regressed within 2 months after missing the playoffs and then entering the season as a Super Bowl favorite. It's concerning. Oh, sorry, they've improved center. Hand up. That's on me. That's it. That was an easy one to upgrade. I could have played center and probably upgraded it.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, that's
really
it.
Literally it. You've regressed at RB2, left tackle. What else am I missing? Defense, edge rusher. You don't have an edge rusher right now outside of Hutch. Defensive tackle. You lost your top 2 to 3 defensive tackles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's been, to be honest with you, it does give me another feeling, and people have been saying this the last couple days. I think Brad in his heart knows this isn't a Super Bowl team. I really do. I don't think Brad plays a Super Bowl team. I don't.
By the way, did you fix J-Rod? Did you see what happened? This new Nightbot thing that we have, it timed out J-Rod because J-Rod said hit the like button, and the Nightbot said stop spamming and timed out J-Rod.
Wait,
dude.
Did it really time him out?
Yes, I have my phone here. It says Nightbot timed out, or J-Rod was timed out by Nightbot for 5 seconds for spamming.
No,
it was only 5 seconds, but
no, I just changed it so caps are off. So yeah, apparently there's a caps option that I left on, so that's on me.
Oh, dude, it said J-Rod hit the like button for the fellas, and then it timed him out.
You, bro.
Oh,
yeah,
shout out J-Rod.
Caps are fine. Caps.
Yeah, we got a new Nightbot. It's like a little AI thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
Jeff's cooked something up.
Hey, I'm testing it out. Tough first day. I'll tell you what.
It's time people off from supporting the boys.
Oh, that's funny, dude.
Oh, dude, that is so funny.
What do you think of that, though? I don't think Brad
bots this is everywhere.
Yeah, I don't think Brad thinks this is a Super Bowl team. I think he's more realistic. I think he's trying to be a little more realistic and be like, hey, we got to get younger in some positions. Like,
that's where I disagree. I think it is a Super Bowl team. If you do the right things in the offseason, it is. And if you're gonna pay the guys you're paying, as many guys as you are, dude, guess what? If you're gonna do that, you put yourself in a Super Bowl position because you're paying 15 All Pros $100 million each. So it's like you have no choice but to be a Super Bowl team. So if you're gonna do that, you have to make moves for a Super Bowl roster. And he makes, you know what he does? He makes moves for a team that's like, dude, he makes, this is the concerning part. This offseason, you know what this reminds me of, honestly? And I've already seen a lot of people say this. In the chat, I would love to know the thoughts on this. You know what this reminds me of? Brad makes moves like the Pittsburgh Steelers have for the last 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
He does. You get some players and you get kind of your core pieces, your Cam Haywards, your I don't even know. Your TJ Watt with his Hutch. You get your quarterback. They kind of didn't have a quarterback, but Brad has a quarterback. You get a really good receiver. But like whoever the GM is in Pittsburgh for like years just refused to go make a move at receiver. They had a handful of holes and they just constantly refused to do it. And they're like, we're just going to find cheap options to do it. We're going to get by. And guess what? They just never got over the hump. Never.
And then when they did have receivers, they were crazy. Juju and Antonio Brown.
And it's concerning. Like it's you know what I hate about this whole situation too right now? I'm getting worked up right now. I shouldn't. This is the first time I've shown concern, full real concern on this Lions regime in 5 or 6 years. And I get people in my comment section like, you're one of the you're this type of Lions fan. You're the worst. Like you're the absolute worst. Nothing's ever good enough for you. You know what? Hey, bud, come here and sit on my lap. You're actually the worst. The Lions fans that tell you you're the worst because you have a little concern, you're the worst. You guys are the worst. And it's not even that many Lions. I think right now, I'm pretty sure right now, 80% of Lion fans have concern, and it's like it's flipped. I think a year ago it was 80% didn't have a concern and 20% did. Yeah. I think it's flipped. I think 80% have a concern and 20% don't have a concern, and they're like they think you're like Satan, like walking down the street. They're like, oh, come across my dude. Did you see? Like, did this guy on my Matt thing was like, quit being a whiny, you know what? I'm like, what?
Whiny bitch. That's what he said.
Because I have an opinion about this football team. I said, learn between whining and having an opinion. I go, what you're doing to me is actually whining. You're whining to me about whining.
Those people that try and
sit on my lap.
Those people, okay. Get that on a t-shirt, man. Yeah, wow.
I saw a tweet today. Can I read a tweet?
Yeah.
I just saw someone, shout out Full Slate. He said Rock Down. Shout out the Rock Down boys, huh? Eric, absolute legend. Love him. Good dude.
Who tweeted? What's this fucking tweet? What's this?
I'm blocked by it. Should I read it?
Read it.
Brad Holmes is the smartest GM on the planet. And there's more. I won't read the rest, but that's the start of the week. If he was, he would have a Super Bowl right now.
You know what I think, man? Yeah, by the way, we're going to get sit on my lap on the soundboard, I think, at some point. I think we need to.
We got to get a t-shirt, too. You guys just put me there like in a throne, like I'm like Santa Claus. It's like a Santa thing.
Yeah, what I will say, this whole Brad Holmes thing, we've been going through it for years. I think those people are running out of ammo. I truly believe that. They're running out of ammo. And it's not even about like fire the guy. And no one's saying fire him. But if you can't critique the guy, man, you got to hop off his nuts. I mean, this is getting to a point where it's like, come on. So you're saying the guy's absolved from criticism? You're psycho. I mean, you're absolutely psycho. Yeah. If you can't acknowledge what's going on right now and look at this team, and no, do me a favor. Look at other Super Bowl caliber teams and just compare moves. That's all you got to do. And you see what the Lions have done. Cade Mays, okay, you filled the hole at center. Okay, cool. I mean, that's a big one, obviously.
But that should be an expectation. That should be an expectation.
Yeah, they haven't done anything else. They've gotten worse from last year, and they missed the playoffs. I'm confused.
I said it yesterday. I do genuinely think there's a world right now. And again, I don't know anything. I've talked to no one. I don't know anyone in the building in Detroit. And I told you before the show, Jeff, I truly do believe that there's a world where Dan Campbell right now has a little frustration in regards to the roster. I do. I think maybe him and Brad aren't like, there's a section of this rebuild. I'm not even a rebuild because it's not a rebuild, but the rebuild, they were on the same page. They get to where they were roster-wise. They have their guys, and they need to get over this hump. And Brad hasn't been able to do it over the last 2 years because of all these contracts. I have a feeling, and again, I told you, and that Dan's looking at Brad and's like, hey, man, like, I need to play football. I need a 53-man roster. You're giving me Aiden Hutchinson and Ahmed Hassanin. I don't even have any other. Like, are you going to give me a rookie to go across from Hutch? What are you giving me? And it's been like that for years. And then it's the same thing last year with the O-line where Dan's like, probably for a year or so, like in the back of Dan's mind, Dan's like, hey, like, guys, Frank's probably going to retire here soon. It'd be like, maybe we should find a way at center. And I would love to know. And they're going to always say they're on the same page and they're going to act hand in hand. But if I was the head coach, I would be a little like, you didn't really give us much on the offensive line last year. You didn't have an offensive line ready for me. Now this year, you don't have a left tackle. We just lost Taylor Decker. And on top of that, we lost half of our vets and we don't have a D line yet. And you only have like less than 30 million to spend. And we still have 10 holes, it feels like.
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah, it seems like at this point you're sitting there looking at this team going like, okay, so Hutch, it's basically Hutch and Ahmed Hassanin in the edge room. I mean, how does that not concern anybody? Like, how does? And
we're day 3, and you see all these edges getting signed for like, dude, I've seen like 10 edges that could come in and start on the other side of Hutch right away, going for like $8 million in free agency.
Yeah. Yeah,
I would pay Bradley Chubb $13 million or whatever he got today, just to come in.
It's crazy. Now that we did see officially the Isaiah Pacheco deal, the actual
great by Brad.
Yeah, this one, you know what? We give criticism, we give praise. $1.8 million is nothing for Isaiah Pacheco. And if he works out, great. I mean, I brought up my concerns about injuries. I don't even care. This deal is nothing. This is like a flyer. So it's like he brings you something cool. I wouldn't even say he's paid as an RB2. He's paid like I don't even know what this would be, a $1.8 million. I think Craig Reynolds made like a little less. He's basically paid like an RB3 technically. Like that's his payment. I mean, it's so bad. It's so low. Well, great. It's great for the Lions, but it's like for Isaiah Pacheco, who when healthy can be a pretty good RB2. So this is a good contract. You're not if it works out, great. If it doesn't, I think he still addresses running back in the draft. I don't think that's going to change. You know, not a great running back class, but I think they'll still grab a running back at some point. And yeah, you'll have a trio of guys and we'll see. Who knows? Maybe the guy who drafts ends up taking his spot, but it's $1.8 million. That's it.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think that's a absolute steal. I do think that this contract, I know it's a $1.8 million deal of an RB2, but out of the free agent signings that Brad's done in his tenure in Detroit, I think this one could be one of the ones that turn out to be one of the best. Because you lost David Montgomery, and Pacheco has such a high upside to where if he gets back to where he was and he's your RB2 and he's giving you close to what D-Mont got you, and you only got him for 1.8, and you had D-Mont for what, $7 to $9 million. That's like one of the biggest steals of all time from Brad Holmes, moving on from D-Mont, opening up some money and rolling with Pacheco. Like if this works out, that's an absolute steal. Again, like you said, hey, we'll go at Brad and we'll give him credit. This one, kudos to Brad. The signings he's done so far, the Cade Mays and this one, just two great signings, in my opinion.
The problem is they're on offense. Not the problem, but the problem is you haven't done anything on defense. That's the problem. Not the problem like they're bad players, but that's where people are like, what is going on defense? Like, what are we doing? But this deal, like I'll ask, and this is the people that hate the deal, I'll ask you this. Do you think Isaiah Pacheco is 30% of Rico Dowdle? Because that's his salary. About
more
30%.
Than that. He's at least 50% of Rico.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like, that's the salary.
Yeah, it's not even.
Rico. It's like, dude, yeah. You know, it's like 30% of Rico Dowdle, which Rico Dowdle's a 1,000-yard back. He's a good back, but like.
For sure.
30% of Rico Dowdle. Yeah.
I don't know how, by the way, you look at this deal. Like, if you like Klotz specifically was mad at it at first. And what did I say yesterday, too? Like, hey, wait for the number to come out because then you can compare it to other free agents. The number comes out. I don't know how you can even be close to mad at this deal. I don't know how you don't look at this deal and go, kudos to Brad. Like, how did he even get this done? There's no way how was Isaiah Pacheco's, by the way, market $1.8 million? I was expecting like $4 million, to be honest. and he's half of that. Cut it in half.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's an upside deal. I think there's upside in it. I think there's out of all the things that kind of transpired over the last 2 days, I mean, you obviously have the Malcolm Rodriguez re-signing, Brock Ya-Sin re-signing. The defense is concerning, but they did make a subtraction on defense. They did cut Josh Paschal today officially, which I don't know. I guess we were. I knew would happen. I didn't think it would happen now, but Brad did talk about this at the combine when we were there. I mean, he was talking about Levi and Josh, and he did not talk about them in the same fashion. He mentioned how Josh, if he's here, he said something along those lines, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So they might already have a feeling they were going to release him, and they officially move on after 4 years. And let me just say this, Brad Holmes, just like every general manager, is in love with his own guys. He has a special connection to guys that he drafts. That's why he doesn't give up on guys. Look who he re-signed. He re-signed Malcolm Rodriguez. That's a guy he drafted. He gave an extension to Derek Barnes, a guy he drafted. And some of the guys are good players. You're going to pay Jack. It's a guy he's drafted. J-Mo, Aleem, who, you could argue not worth it at all, but he drafted. I mean, GMs fall in love with their guys. He finally let go of Josh Paschal. It took 4 years of injuries and just not being good enough for a second round selection. But he pulled the trigger, the hypothetical.
Is this the first draft pick? Oh, not that, it's not. Okay. I was going to say, is it the first one that he's moved on from? It might be one of the first top 3 round draft picks he's moved on from, or top 2 rounds.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because it would have been Levi because he was drafted before Josh, but he's back and he's still here. So
maybe even up to the 3rd round because I don't
know.
No,
because third if he was third.
Iffy. Okay. Was Broderick 3rd?
No. Oh, he might have been. No, Hendon was 3rd. I think he was. He might have been 3rd too. He might have been 3rd.
They had 2 thirds. Yeah.
So yeah, but still another guy in the 2nd round. He just didn't pan out, man. He just didn't pan out. But actually, this makes the defensive line room even more thin. So I know he wasn't, with all due respect, worth the damn, but it does make the defensive line room even thinner.
I'll tell you what, it was something that I was expecting because last year, honestly, I thought this was going to happen last year. He was out all year with an injury. He's been injury riddled his whole career. So I'm not mad about this at all. But again, this turns back to what we were talking about earlier, Jeff. You keep losing guys on defense, and you haven't replaced anyone. You've lost Anzo, Amik, Josh Paschal, AQM, DJ Reader, Roy Lopez. And I know DJ Reader and AQM still could sign here, but and there's probably more I'm missing, right, that they've lost. And I could just go down the line. There's 7 or 8 guys on defense that played significant snaps for you or would have if they were healthy. Gone. How many players defensively have you brought in? You lost, 6 to 8, let's say? How many have you brought in on defense?
2.
Free agent-wise.
Yeah. Oh, free agent, not re-sign?
Because they were all already there. Rodrigo and stuff has been – he was playing last year.
Faces, nobody.
I'm saying you lost 6 to 8 players on this defense. They're gone. They're not here anymore. How many new faces have you brought in?
Yeah, there's no new faces, no.
0. That's 6 to 8 spots that you have to fill. And people are like, well, there's only 11 on the team. We're talking about depth as well. Isn't that something that concerns a little bit? When we talk about injuries, Jeff, you're like, hey, well, you need depth, right? So if a guy gets injured, the argument I get made about the defense all the time is, well, if they weren't injured, they would have been really good. Yeah, well, if you-know-what had a you-know-what would be my grandpa. I don't know the whole saying, whoever says that.
You can say if your grandma had wheels, she'd be a bicycle, yeah.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, okay. But I was way off on that. But at the end of the day, it's you had that argument last year. Well, okay, when you had the injuries, what happened? You needed depth, right? All right, well, you had a guy here and there that stepped up, but it wasn't enough. As of right now, if you get injuries, you don't even have guys to step up. They're going to have to call me or you, Jeff, to go play defensive tackle or edge rusher. I can't.
That's what I said. Remember what I said yesterday? I'm linebacker, your edge, Klotz in the nickel.
And I don't want to do it.
No,
I don't want the
up.
fans. I don't want the fans coming. Fans already come at me enough for things I say. Imagine my play on the field. I might die, dude. I'm not doing it. But the fact is like you've had 6 to 8 faces just leave your room. You've added no new bodies. You have less than $30 million to spend in free agency, and you still have to replace 6 to 8 guys on just the defense. That it's. What are you going to do? All 10 of your draft picks are going to be defense, and you're going to expect all 10 rookies to step in. Dude, I'm getting going a little bit. Okay, I got to relax. I'm sorry. Hey. You signed a backup quarterback before you even signed a defensive lineman, dude. I could play backup for you if you really wanted. I would do that because I don't have to play.
You can hold the clipboard?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
We can get anyone to do that.
Matt N, appreciate the $5. When we depended on our defensive backups, our D sucked. Now our guys are leaving, and our backups are starters. This is a nightmare.
And we don't even have backups because they are starters now. We don't have backups.
We don't have backups to backups who are starters.
It is shocking that they've already spent money in free agency, and they've got a center, a tackle, a running back, and a backup quarterback. And they've literally brought 4 guys in free agency. They have not brought 1 guy on defense. I don't know if anyone's realized that. I really don't.
Remember when I said defense wins championships? I forgot to put in there. I forgot to put in there good defenses win championships. Sorry about that. I didn't throw it. I forgot to throw that in there. Not just having guys on a field on defense wins championships. You got to have a good defense. And right now, you got it. You got Aiden rushing the passer by himself, which honestly, when you look at some of the guys that are available, there are some good, I'll throw out a name I've been throwing around a lot, Jadeveon Clowney. I think that's a guy the Lions should definitely got to try and call. And Will brought this up today. He's been a free agent multiple times. The Lions haven't signed him, but you need someone that can come in, that can play the run, rush the passer, and you kind of know what you're getting. Okay.
All right. Come on, man.
Yeah, dude.
We can't do that. If the bot was going to block anyone, it's Nick. Not cool.
Yeah, so Lions represent someone smack Nick. You
what if that's Brad Holmes' burner? And he's just like, I got them.
Yeah, that is just a sick joke. That's
messed up, man. Not cool. Not cool.
But yeah, that's a sick joke. I actually I just went blank.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, that's so.
And you know what I don't want to hear too? This is one of my bigger gripes with this whole thing is when people tell me, "Oh, Booner, you're going to criticize Brad, but what happens when he does make a move? You're gonna prop him up and be like, oh, how good he is." Yeah, I actually am. Because that's my job. That's as a fan too. That's what you're supposed to do. When you're a GM and you make good moves, we're gonna prop you up and we're gonna tell you about it. And when you're not making moves or making bad moves, we're gonna let you know about that. That's part of it, right? It's part of it. You can't always just be like, "Hey, this guy's so good, dude." Oh my gosh. You know what that's called, Jeff? Do you have any guess? It's called glazing. That's what the kids call it these days. You can't be a glazer.
It is glazing. That's what they call it. I will tell you right now. There is some news. Not Lions news, but related around a player the Lions met with. Former first-round pick left tackle Jedrick Willis signing a 1-year deal with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't really want him anyways.
Yeah, it is what it is. The Lions met with him to bring him in as a body, but he just signed with the Bears. So, not that Jedrick Willis was. I'm not a big fan of him either, but he goes to the Bears. So I just think they need to bring in another tackle. I think Walker's still out there at tackle. They can look into, which I wouldn't mind at all. He's kind of a serviceable. He's a good, solid starter. To solid to good starter. He's not like some elite signing. I mean, I don't think he'd cost a ton of money. I just don't know if the Lions have the money unless they restructure Amon-Ra and Panay right now. They just don't. They can't be spending.
But I do think there's a world though. Like, if you were going to do that with them, why didn't you restructure the whole Jared Goff contract? You left money on the table.
They left about 13-ish million.
Yeah. Why would you have done that if you were going to go into Jared or Amon-Ra and Panay's? Like, you would have done all of Jared's and done one contract instead of having to cut into someone else's. To me, I think my theory was like they're going to have to see how much they want to spend, and then they're going to restructure. I think they saw the first couple of days what they were able to get done, and they're like, oh, we only have to restructure 30 or 40. I mean, that's where I was, that's in my mind. I'm like, that's it. And to me, that shows Brad's, I don't want to say incompetence because that's a big claim. But man, if you're done in free agency, which I tweeted it out, I think they're still going to make a move at edge. Dude, I would have restructured all of Jared Goff's. I would have restructured some of Panay's, and I would have sat there with even extra money just in case anything else opened up. Like that's what I would have done if I'm Brad Holmes. Be extra careful. And right now he's one of the most passive GMs in all of football, and you have a chance to go win a Super Bowl. And you're being one of the most passive humans in the moment on the planet. It feels like.
Like this is not true. Lions have 35 in cap space. No, dude, they're going to have probably about 20 million in cap space.
Well, you need I think it's 12.8, 12.9 for your rookies.
Yeah, so it'll be about around 20 million in cap space, and that's not included. So that leaves you what you could sign an edge. You can't get you can't get multiple serviceable starters. It'd be like cheap deal. One guy, maybe like an edge for like 10 million. Maybe you can get like a linebacker, and then it'd be like cheap deals after that, pretty much. Unless they restructure. You know what I want to ask you actually now looking back is, let me see. I think Steve brought this up. They tried to get Decker to take a pay cut before they even did Goff's restructure. They saved about 11 million with Decker's release. They saved about 11.6. Looking back, do you wish they just kept Decker and restructured more of Goff for 13 extra million?
100%.
Because now you wouldn't have a gaping hole at tackle for this.
That's why it was so concerning that I do think the Decker thing didn't even come down to the money. I think it came down to, they wanted to restructure, but I think they might have told him like, hey, we're going to still bring someone in to fight for the left tackle spot. And I don't know if he liked that. That's just my thought. Because Dan literally said that the day we all spoke with Dan literally was like, whether we have Decker or not, we're bringing someone in to compete.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's hard to say now with all that Decker stuff until we get to the draft, because I think they'll have a tackle there.
Hopefully, man.
So, yeah. Yeah, there's some guys like linebackers there, but a lot of the good linebackers or solid linebackers are kind of falling off. But maybe they just roll this year with Jack Campbell and Derek Barnes. Maybe they just run 2 linebackers. That's it. Maybe you sign a nickel, and then you could put an extra DB on the field, like we talked about, instead of running base defense. Because they technically don't need another linebacker if they're going to run that if they're not running base defense. They just have
they're not.
They can just do Derek Barnes and Jack.
They're not.
They'll probably. You think they're going to?
You think they're going to switch? They've made it clear that what they want to do. Like they've made it very clear. I think when Shep spoke to the media in Indy, I think he said that. Remember, he was like, "I'm not gonna change just because the league is. I'm not gonna, or whatever it was." Yeah, we can ask the doc when he gets on, but he did say that.
He might have to, unless you're rolling Malcolm Rodriguez.
But he was like, "I don't have a what's his name? Who's the nickel?"
Nick.
Yeah, he was like, "I don't have a Nick Amanawari. If I did, we would, but I don't." So,
imagine Brad drafts him like a guy like that.
I don't even know who in this draft class is like a Nick Amanawari.
Nobody really. That guy's a freak.
He was kind of
he's a freak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Nick Cross signed today. That'd have been a good fit. 7 million. Nate V, appreciate the $2. Does the current cap include cap increase?
Yes.
I think so.
I believe so. It all pretty much gets updated in real time.
Lions today. Wait, hold on. Lions today. We have 2 edges on the roster. Maybe we do a 1-7 defense. Shout out
Michael Mike, dude.
Yeah, it's looking
this is why too, by the way, this is why I love Michael Mike too, because when things are good, Michael Mike will say, hey, this is good. When we're bad, he's going to also, and I just don't think a lot of people are like that. You get hate when it's like a little pushback. That's been bothering me throughout the last 48 hours. I put these tweets out and talk about things and feel like I'm like the worst human alive when I say something negative about Brad.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I got a lot of respect for Mike, man. He's been doing it for a while. He's awesome, great guy too. We gotta talk some ball with him soon. I think the problem with a lot of the people and fans is like there's 2 sides. It feels like there's like politics all over. It's like you got these people that think Brad can do no wrong, and then you get people that think Brad's the devil, and then there's people in the middle that are like, he's done a lot of great things, but he also has done a lot of shit things that need to be critiqued, and I think that's where I kind of fall in.
Yeah, I'm in the middle, man.
Or it's like this guy's done some shit that needs to be called out, but he deserves praise for the good stuff, of course. But it's like, are we going to just let things slide? You know, it's like the Stockholm syndrome thing, in my opinion. You know, people don't have to like that, but yeah, that's what I think. It's the feeling of, hey, he's given us great things, so we're just going to accept that this is what it is. And we're going to have to be okay with it because, you know, whatever, which I don't agree with. Do says, let me read this comment. Jeff, I think you're right. They know this is a rebuild / not a contending team, therefore behaving this way. Marcus says Jack and Malcolm are an excellent nickel duo. Barnes, Jack, Malcolm is an awesome 4-3 group. Jack and Malcolm as a nickel. Marcus. Come on, man. Malcolm Rodriguez. I like Malcolm Rodriguez. I do. I like Malcolm. Great guy. I think he's a good backup. Like if you need him to play in a pinch, he could play. Well, you feel differently if Malcolm's starting for you. You feel a lot differently if Malcolm's starting for you. I'll just say that. No one wants him to start for you. No way. No how. There is no way. That'd be nuts. Christopher says Brad could care less, but I am in the middle too. I was slow to accept that he is unfortunately arrogant. I think he's got a little bit of arrogance to him. I think a lot of successful people have a little bit of arrogance. You know, it comes with athletes and everything. Like when you're successful at something, you got a little bit of arrogance for sure. But it does when you hear him talk to the people sometimes press conference, you kind of see some of that arrogance a little bit.
Well, I think not this past offseason, but last offseason, or even the year before, when he had those press conferences where he took shots at the media and also people online for critiquing him, and he like kept receipts, and he goes out there and has all these receipts for people, and this is where I think they're like criticism is fair. Brad Holmes literally after a good season called out media members and called out people with receipts that went at him and said negative things about him and tried to dunk on the media. And then now all of a sudden you're in a spot to where it's like, you've regressed since you said that. Not like a small regression. You've lost in the first round, and then you also managed to go 9-8 and miss the playoffs. After the fact you've dunked on the media members and tried to laugh at them and bring receipts. So if you don't think at that point people are gonna if you're gonna bring, it's one of those things, Jeff. Like, hey man, like all bark no bite, or what is it? Like, hey, don't throw a stone from a glass room. Like, isn't that the thing? Like, that's the thing with Brad Holmes. It's like, hey, bud, like you literally took shots at media members and people and broad receipts when you were good of people calling you out, and now you've been bad and no one knows what's going on. you're going to get a lot of criticism. And I think it's okay for people to question him. And for the people who are like, stop questioning Brad, everything's going to be fine, relax. Like, I was in that camp, and the doc told me, stop telling people to relax. Like, yeah, no, like, he went at everyone for calling him out. It's time for him. It's time. Hey, Brad Holmes, welcome to our side, pal. We're here. Figure this thing out.
He's got to figure it out.
By the way, I've been so bad with analogies today. I think I've butchered every single one I've said. And by the way, I love last thing before the doc comes in. I do like Brad Holmes as a GM. I want people to know that. I've said multiple times, even in the last month, Brad Holmes is a top 7 to 8 GM in the NFL. That number keeps falling to me, but top 7 to 8 because of how he's built this roster and what he's done already. There is just these little free agency, trade deadline, these little lapses that he hasn't put it all together as a GM yet.
Christopher, appreciate the $5. He was $5 just because you read more than Super Chats. We appreciate you, Christopher. Thank you for that. Let's bring on the man.
Shout out.
John Maakaron covers the Detroit Lions for Sports Illustrated. Host of the Lowell's podcast, joins us every single Wednesday. This time a little earlier because we decided to start a little bit earlier. Mr. John Maakaron. John, how we doing?
Absolutely freaking amazing. It's my birthday. I turned 47. I feel good. Energy for days. You guys know, working hard, grinding. I should take the day off. You know, it's a Wednesday, but, you know, I can't help myself. Look, here's what I'm drinking today. I haven't told you in a while. This is neat. This is Woodford double oaked Woodford. We are going to have a good show. Because, look, I know you guys are passionate about your own show. But for the future, all you got to remember is, all you got to do is put my name, John Doc Maakaron, on the marquee, and it's my job to deliver. Let's go, boys. What are we talking about today?
Well, it's been one of those weeks. I mean, I'll tell you what, it really has. It's been free agency, which, you know, start of the week, you're kind of going into the tampering period, waiting for things to go and happen. There's holes on this Lions team. And I guess we'll just start with who they signed first. Cade Mays. Your thoughts on Cade Mays, the free agent, and them finally addressing that center position?
Absolutely. We're going to talk today about filling all the holes, right? But we talked earlier today, and I thought that we had a chance to go over respectfully all the free agents, but you guys didn't tell me. I think, you know, maybe defensive end, Dixon Myas could fill all the holes. Do you guys think that? or no? Do you guys agree that they could go after a defensive end that could fill all the holes? You know, that's a big talking point.
Yeah, Aaron.
Hey, shout out to Aaron, by the way. Great dude. When I saw them, my heart dropped for Aaron when that came. I was like, no, man, no. That was tough. That was a tough one.
Okay, so now that we got the first joke I told at my new mature age of 47, let me tell you.
Oh, 47? You didn't have to say the age, dog.
I
text you happy 30th birthday.
I'm proud of it. I'm 30th. Proud of it. And give these guys super chats. That's my mission, is to deliver and to prove to these guys every week that the time that they give me, whether it be 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 4 hours, whatever, that I earn the spot. That's my job. And so give them super chats, give them likes. That's what I want to see for my birthday. That's all I want. And so, look, Cade Mays fills the role. It's an upgrade over Graham Glasgow. Good. Was he the best option? No. And does he have holes that we got to hope that don't get exposed by other teams? I mean, everybody saw the tape of some players, you know, on the Saints or other opponents that had their way with them in the, you know, when against the run. But I look at it like, okay, within the parameters of spending $8 million, it's a good player. I'm happy. Sets the tone. Now you got to figure out your left tackle spot, your right tackle spot. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Sewell at left? Are you going to draft, you know, and let a Monroe Freeling or a Blake Miller take a spot right away? But first and foremost, you address the need in free agency, which is good. The rest of the guys, it's almost laughable. It's going to make me take a shot to realize the Lions up until this point. I mean, you guys are on the air like 48 hours out of the last 49. And you guys are waiting and excited, and you're getting hyped, and you get Teddy Bridgewater, Juice Scruggs, Larry Borum. Come on. And you're like, Are there any players on defense? You bring back Rocky Sin, Malcolm Rodriguez, you cut Josh Paschal. Most people are like, this isn't free agency frenzy. This is free agency folly. This doesn't make us feel any better because obviously the players that they got are going to fill a role. But you also have to weigh that against the players that left. Taylor Decker left. David Montgomery left. You realize Alex Anzalone, Amik Robertson, Roy Lopez, what you had departed versus what you brought back leaves everybody sitting right now going, drink up, baby, because we're going to be playing 55, 50 games right now sitting on March 11th. That's where we're at today, is that the defense is scaring the crap out of everybody. You ain't going to win a Super Bowl just with Caden Mays. You need some defenders. You need some guys that will make impact plays. And I know we're still 3 days in, but this wasn't free agency frenzy. It was a folly. And it stinks because it's not fun when you see other teams spending, $100 million. You're seeing great action all over the place. Doc's not happy. I'm sensing from our earlier interaction, you two aren't happy. So we got to pick this up so that the fan base can get back. And I'm not getting messages on the fine Lone Wolves podcast, which airs every night at 7:00. And we need more people to not message me that the Lions are going 6-11 next year. I was shocked. I'm like, that's not me typing that. And I'm like, wow, I still think it's a playoff team, but I'm always looking at it like you guys know, keep your eye on the prize always. And it means Super Bowl. This team did not get any closer to the Super Bowl in the last 72 hours. No way.
Yeah, Doc, real quick, before we kind of get into the whole Super Bowl and all that conversation, I just want to go specifically on a player. I know you already talked about Caden Mays. Can I ask you your thoughts on the Isaiah Pacheco thing? It was $1.8 million in 1 year. How do you think he fills the role of David Montgomery? My take on it was more so on the side of you're no longer looking for a David Montgomery because they want Jahmyr Gibbs' role to be increased, as we saw last year. And I think Isaiah Pacheco fills that role when you look at it with the ceiling. What were your thoughts when you saw that Isaiah Pacheco deal come through?
Yeah, I'm fine with it at a contract of $1.8 million, but I look at it like you still got to go maybe look in the draft. Look, nobody wants to go to PFF and go, all right, let's see how this young athlete performed. And you realize there were 44 ranked running backs last year, and Mr. Pacheco was 44. And the Chiefs had no problem letting him go. Look, injuries. Look, Brad Holmes guy dealt with injuries, and obviously his whole game was affected. Speed, explosiveness, productivity. Obviously a down year for the Chiefs. So you're hoping, and that's what the Lions are doing right now. That's when you turn on the tape, obviously you realize, okay, that's not the same player that won 2 Super Bowls. That's not the same guy. Obviously it's due to injury. So you're hoping that the Lions medicals were clear and that he can come in and fill a role. I like what he can do out of the backfield. I like him as a backup, and I think he'll be just fine. Good signing, professional signing, but fans are not really thrilled in the hope market where you go, well, we're taking a chance where we're buying low on a guy and we're hoping that we can get anything out of him. You need a guy that can. The one thing that he did well, and I want to highlight, is when you see what he did on 4th down, man was a monster, and he would get those tough yards. So if he's a short yardage guy and they use him correctly, I think it's a value signing. And if it sucks, you only lost $1.8 million and you have other options as well. And I do want to see the competition between Sailors, Vaki, and Pacheco. And if you add a draft pick, now you have a room that can compete and let the best man get on the field. But it's a good signing. It's fair. It's not going to move the needle. And obviously you're hoping that he rebounds in 2026.
Yeah, Doc, I mean, they signed Larry Borum, but what's going on with this tackle spot? This is ridiculous. I mean, you cut Taylor Decker, save $11.5 million or whatever, 11.6, because they asked him, and can you kind of give context to that too? I'm confused. They asked him to take a pay cut. He refused. He asked for his release, and they don't have a contingency plan in place in free agency, or at least some idea of what they're going to do. They haven't signed any of these tackles. Braden Smith went to the Texans on a $12 million deal. You couldn't sign a starting caliber tackle. Listen, you could get one in the draft. There's no doubt about it. I think they will. But based on what Brad says, Doc, he believes free agency is about filling holes and filling needs. So why is there just a gaping hole at tackle right now? And we're, 3 days or the first day of officially, but through the tampering period, it's Wednesday, and you got not a lot of cash left. What's going on, Doc?
Yeah, the gaping holes are a problem, and
It's always a problem. Yep.
always a problem, and they got to be filled somehow. So we look at it and we say, all right. And I can't believe some fans misconstrued and royally missed what the point of Brad Holmes loves his own means. It doesn't mean that free agents or guys that have been here stay forever. What that concept means is if you're drafted by Brad Holmes, you get second and third chances to prove yourselves, like Avaki and Ennis Rakestraw. You get an overwhelming amount of chances. And so what the issue at hand was, Taylor Decker was not drafted by the Lions. Excuse me, was not drafted by this current regime. He was drafted by Bob Quinn. So the Lions have been good at, in one aspect, when players get older and they're not as useful, they're not paying them $20 million to be a guy that doesn't practice as much and to not perform. The tape speaks for itself. Everybody sees it. Wasn't as good. So the Lions want him around. And listen, the blessing of the Lions, when you cover them and you listen and open your ears, you can figure out what's going on. Dan Campbell said at the Combine, great, we want to know what's going on with Taylor. We'd love to have him. But we still got to fill the position. We still got to look at that position. It's not done. So what does that mean? They were talking to him about, listen, at $20 million, that's not going to be in our plans. And so Taylor's like, I'm offended. And as he should be. From a player side, you don't want to take less money when you ink the contract. You do want a sense of, hey, I put in the time. I'm a veteran leader. I am busting my ass out here. And so they had a negotiation. It was extensive, a lot of back and forth. And there were talks. And obviously he wants to know his role. What does it mean? Does it mean he's got to teach another person? And in the end, the player's like, you know what? The writing's on the wall. It's business time. And it's nothing personal. And the fans reacted properly. When he announced he was coming back, half of the fan base was like, no, we'd be okay if he wasn't on the team. And so the Lions felt the same way at $21 million versus what they could get in a savings cap-wise this year and next year. If the number didn't meet, he's the one that said, okay, we have come to the fork in the road and my time is done. So now you have that hole, but that hole to me filled. Sewell will fill that hole. You cannot in any way, shape, or form, in any capacity, okay, with Jared Goff as your quarterback, stick a rookie there. That would be stupid. That would be malfeasance at the highest level. Sewell plays left tackle. Figure it out. Adjust, adapt, get on the grind. You're the left tackle. You might end up being the best left tackle in the history of the game. Do the job and make it work at right tackle, whether it be Blake Miller, whether it be Juice Scruggs, whether it be somebody else. You make it happen. Whether it be Manu, you give him a chance and say, hey, good luck to you. You're going to have a competition. So I'm much more comfortable with Jared Goff's blind side being protected and a competition at right tackle. And I think that there's a lot of good tackles that you can slide in there as a rookie and say, okay, early on, take your lumps, but we can work around it, especially when you got 4/5 of an offensive line. This offensive line can be okay. They added depth. I think they added a lot of competition, and I feel good. I'm not as concerned because I do think that plan A is Penei Sewell, left tackle, Christian Mahogany, starting left guard. You got a nice center in Cade Mays. Your right tackle of the future for the next decade is Tate Ratledge, and you figure it out at right tackle. It's one position, and I feel like you have the potential to get what you need offensively. I don't think I'm too worried on offense. The offense looks pretty good. You can make it, you can deal with the lumps and get better. The talent's there. Everyone's panicking because what the hell? Where's the improvements on defense? Nobody's seeing it yet, and nobody can sell it properly because you lost a lot of talent. Losing Roy Lopez, I would have paid him. I would have given him another year. And you don't have any defensive ends on the roster. You have Ahmed Hassanin and Tyler Lacey and Aiden Hutchinson. And that's about it. And we're going to need some answers. And they're going to be young. So, and many people in the chats today here and on the Lone Wolves podcast, they said the same thing. This draft class has to deliver. Otherwise, that defense is going to struggle. You can't You can't patchwork a defense with that talent that you have now. You got to get a lot better. So we need some action on that defensive side of the football.
Yeah, Doc, that was actually my next question. It's just like, where do you think they go with this? Because I actually have, like, I was putting together a tweet for it tonight. They've lost 4 or 5 guys in free agency on the defensive side of the ball. They have about 10, I think it's like 12 to 14 other defensive players that are free agents still, including like guys like DJ Reader, AQM, Grant Stewart, obviously Davenport. And they have signed 0 defensive players in free agency. I don't count Rodrigo because he was on your defense last year. So you're talking about you lost 4 pieces that played, 3 significant players on your defense, potentially 4 with DJ Reader and 5 with AQM. You have not replaced one player yet. You haven't signed one player to this defense in free agency. What do you see them doing? How do you think they approach this? Obviously, they're going to have to still make those moves. Does your confidence level, I mean, their defense was the issue last year. They haven't changed this coaching staff at all. And they're obviously losing guys on the defensive side of the ball. Are they going to regress defensively after being the 20th, worst or 20th best defense in the NFL, like at the bottom half? How do you see them doing this?
Yeah, it's a very fair point, right? Good question. I like it. And looking at the defense. So I finished the first glass. So you guys can fire up the numbers and tell me, because I am very curious now in my old age. I have become in my old age a stats guy, looking at the YouTube numbers, looking at the website numbers. Am I doing okay? Are people still engaged in the process? Like this show for my fellas. They're doing a great job. They're on the air 50 hours out of 50, and I'm a dumbass drinking in the middle of the day here. This is my second glass, so far so good. I'm drinking it neat.
So it's your birthday, Doc.
Yeah, it's my birthday. And I want to make sure I deliver quality entertainment for the masses on my fourth show. I do truly believe, and it's not being braggadocious, I truly believe that if us 3 talk for 24 hours, we could talk about anything and make it entertaining. So I'm very proud of that fact. And the challenge has been laid down in this great world on YouTube that I got to keep stepping my game up. I'm older now, so I'm potentially feeling like I could get cut. So I have to keep stepping up my game. So let me tell you this about defense, all right? And let me look at the other side, because I know we could all sit here and bitch and moan about the defense. But first and foremost, you got to look at it from this perspective, which I can respect. They were like, well, we had all this talent. We were 20th, and it wasn't that good. A lot of explosive plays. Amik Robertson in the second half of the year was not that great. Alex Anzalone made way too much noise. So let's start over. So fine. Roy Lopez, I would have brought back. Al-Quadin Muhammad, the longer he's not signed, and if he does get signed, chat, let us know. I think it's pretty good that maybe the number can fit here in Detroit, which would be great. You're going to draft a defensive end. It's going to be great. I think that's going to be fine. And so here's the challenge that you have. I feel like more than the talent, the question mark I have is the scheme. I feel like the scheme has not put the team in the best position to succeed in regards to playing the most base defense in the entire National Football League when a quality defense like the Seahawks went to more nickel. Now, of course, if you have Nick Emenwari, you can do that with a 6'3" freak, clearly. But in the end, when you have Brian Branch before the injury, you're playing man-to-man defense with the defensive line is the height of overconfidence in the skill level that you have. And in my opinion, you got to adapt it. You got to overhaul the scheme to the point where you put a little bit more zone coverages, have a little bit more communication and success. And I think when you start to look at it, TA might not be the best at man-to-man in the way in which the league is moving at this point in time. Ennis Rakestraw's got to step it up. But I do think that you potentially got to go in the draft and add a defensive back or in free agency. And you got to retool things in a manner in which you can effectively put these players in a position to not give up explosive plays, to pressure the quarterback with speed, and to be able to consistently not give the fan base a bunch of fugazi stats that impress bloggers. What you got to do is you got to say, okay, against top opponents and top offensive lines, what did you do? Okay, some of the bloggers in this town are enamored with numbers, and they don't open their eyes and go, oh, damn, against the Steelers, he was getting the ball out so quick, we weren't doing shit. Against good opponents, against the Eagles, at key times, you're giving up explosive plays and penalties. And so when you look at it, your cornerback is not enough. You need more pressure from the interior. You need a different style of defensive end, a little more twitchy, get to the quarterback faster. But I just think that step one is get that scheme right and maybe play a little bit less man-to-man, a little bit less base, find avenues to succeed in zone, find avenues to pressure the quarterback and get to the football. But if Kelvin Shepherd is going to play if you take out our 6 worst plays and you realize, take out all our penalties, I like what I saw. Yeah, nobody liked what they saw last year. But I think that when you look at it from a base level, couldn't be worse. They were 20th, and it was not the best strength of the team. So revamp it. I do think Kelvin Shepherd is smart enough and willing enough to adapt. So the one thing we got to do now is see it. We got to see it because Kelvin Shepherd in his first year clearly had the whole internet talking, the fan base talking that maybe more experience would help the Detroit Lions.
Well, I'll ask you, Doc, about the Brad Holmes thing because, I said it earlier. I don't think Brad Holmes looks at this team right now and thinks that we can win a Super Bowl. I don't think he'll admit it because the approach this offseason hasn't indicated that he believes this team is a legit Super Bowl contender. I do want to ask you about the guys departing, though. Some of the guys that left in free agency. Is there anyone that stands out to you? It seems like they're trying to get younger on defense. But what has kind of been your thoughts on the guys that have left? Amik, Anzo, Roy Lopez, and just all those guys that departed. How significant are they? Do you not think they're significant at all? Or what's your thoughts?
That's a good question. I like it. I can roll with that. I look at it from the perspective of older player in Anzalone. They got a raise. And that's what free agency is. That's what you don't want to do. You don't want to pay a 32-year-old linebacker, 2 years and $17 million. You're not going to do that. But we're talking about like maybe a Leon Chanel or somebody else that has some talent, maybe in their prime, somebody that can do some things on a 1-year deal that can help this football team. And so Alex Anzalone, clearly this is Jack Campbell's team. I'm okay with it, but you do got to find a coverage linebacker. You are missing out on one of the leaders on the team. So you got to figure that out. That could be done in the draft, and I think that's somebody. And here's the thing too. Great question about Brad Holmes. I talked about that in the Lone Wolves podcast today. Here's what's going on. And I can't be proven wrong because it makes sense. Clearly, we have now ascertained that the Lions are not declaring that they're all in. They're not doing it yet. There's no evidence to that. There's no money to do that. You're not getting Max Crosby. So when we say Brad Holmes loves his own, it means that if you're a draft pick and you succeed, you have a chance to earn a lucrative contract. But also, the Lions believe their players are good enough to win at the highest level. That's where the disconnect is. The fans just saw a team regress over 3 years, deal with a lot of injuries. So when Dan says, and first and foremost, follow with me and make sure I stay on track because this bourbon is good. Let me stay on track here, which is one, the Detroit Lions, when he says I need competition, you know what that's code for? I need some young dogs that can actually stay on the field and practice because I'm going to put through the ringer. I need some guys to work.
Yep.
Some guys like you two that are going to go 50 hours and just go crazy on a subject when it's going to be slow. That's what they need. They don't need me, who's hit the mountaintop and is looking for new things and is just entertaining himself every single day, drinking, doing whatever. They don't need me. They need hungry wolves like you two. And so he's saying, hey, I need competition. I need practice bodies to withstand what the hell I'm going to put them through. Younger, hungrier, not as jaded by the world, not as jaded professionally. That's step one. Step two, I look at it and I say, whew, this team is looking to be competitive on the cheap. He's looking to go, hey, wait a minute. I'm not paying Tyler Linderbaum $27 million. I would have paid 30. What the hell? So to me, this is what I said on the podcast. And if I'm wrong, cut me off. And this is probably 32% of what's going on. And he'll never admit this also. But his contract is up in 2027. You just get to the playoffs, be successful, 5 straight winning years. Most general managers have their contract extended 1 year early, so you're not a lame duck. What's the alternative? Push all in and fail. Some of the fans may not like you and might get the heat hot, might prove that you can't do it. Or Trojan safe, get to the playoffs. Half of the slappy bloggers will love you still. A whole networks will fawn all over you. And you get another year on your contract, which could be north of $7 million a year. Would you do that? I just think that he's playing it safe with this idea of sustained success. Nobody gives a shit about sustained success. Nobody cares. Great. Nobody wants to be teased like the Steelers and the Bills. Eventually, the Lions are teasing the fan base with this sustained success idea and the notion that our guys alone are going to win. Most people believe that you kind of need a couple more high-end free agents and a couple more guys to deliver. So in the end, and this is a crude metaphor, it's like finding a lovely lady that you love and you really like her. And you take her out on the first date, take her out on the second date, take her out on the third date. They're all great dates. Take her out on the fourth date. And fourth, fifth date, you finally get to the apartment, but you're watching movies. The sixth date, watching a movie. Seventh date, meeting the family. Eighth date, you're like, well, this is sustained success. I feel that love and feeling, but you still haven't connected because she's a very nice lady. Church young lady won't do the thing. You're like, God dang it, I got these urges. I'm kind of pent up. And eventually you're thinking like, man, she's a good girl. She could be the mother of my kids. All my friends love her. Everybody loves her. We ain't doing the nasty. So eventually you're just like 13th date, you're starting to text her friends. 14th date, you're trying to, go on other sites and do your thing. If you don't eventually score, there's no payoff. And for the Detroit Lions fan base, we've seen playoff wins. Fans remember Eric Kramer. They remember the ups and the downs. They remember 2 playoff wins 2 years ago. They don't want that. The one thing that's driving all this craziness, that's driving all the passion and engagement and everybody going crazy is the one thing they really just haven't done yet crazily is push the envelope. This fan base is ready for it. Let's go. Push it. This fan base would be like, Brad, you took a swing and you made it happen. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, take a couple years off and come right back. We're on board. We are supporting that. We are telling Brad Holmes, push the envelope. And if you fall on your face, pick yourself up and fix it. But this, nobody wants to be teased. Nobody's taking a girl out on 15 dates without scoring. Nobody. So this fan base is ready. And the fan base is telling you, we ain't feeling the Super Bowl buzz, especially when the Rams are declaring their intention right now. Right now, they're declaring their intention. And the Chiefs made a move. And your competitors, I don't care about the Cardinals. I don't care about the Raiders. I care about teams that are in your vicinity. I care about the Bears. And I just feel like the Lions got to stick their neck out and just tell this fan base, we're ready to go. And I know it's early 3 days in, but the more every hour you wait, more guys get signed. And it's just you're not sensing that you cannot, 9 draft picks and a trade deadline is going to get you from where you are to a Super Bowl. It's a tall climb. And I just think that the Lions, in so many words, are way too safe. It's teasing, man. Nobody likes teasing.
Can I ask Doc, because I think we're all kind of in a similar page, it feels like. When you talk about going all in and Dan or Brad, I'm sorry, making those moves and like, hey, you can do that. Like, fans aren't going to be mad if you go all in at this point. Maybe a couple years ago, yeah, but now it's like, all right, it's that time. For you, Doc, specifically, like if you're in Brad Holmes' shoes, what would your approach, like let's say all of a sudden today, March 11th, with what they have already gotten, the salary cap that they have left, still some players they could restructure if they wanted to, Max Crosby on the table, like what would your ideal plan be to approach the rest of this offseason? Like, would you go for Max Crosby? Would you, because like they did the restructure today of Jared Goff, they'd left some on the board. Would you go restructure Penei Sewell and open up a lot more money and really sign bigger? Like, how would you do it with what's left in free agency and as well as like all this kind of opening up? Because I think that's where like fans are right now is this defense. You're sitting there, you're going like I explained it earlier, but I think a lot of people are just kind of. What's that cartoon, Doc? Like the Tweety bird when they get hit, the thing gets hit in the head and it's like birds around it. I think like Lions fans feel like that right now. They're like, what's happening? Oh my gosh, like we're regressing. What would you do if you took over?
Yeah, no, I respect what you're saying. And the chat, let's go light up the super chats for these guys. Pay them for their great takes and their hard work. They're all telling me to tell you that, instead of the blue Kool-Aid, you're getting blue balls. And that's the case. That's the true case, is that this fan base is looking at things totally differently. So let's rewind. Now, obviously, what they're doing is I'm sticking on March 11th with what they're doing. Just find guys and you better hit that draft and do what you got to do. But let's rewind how this could have been done differently. I would have looked at it and said, okay, all right, where are we at now in this? Okay, we're right here in the prime of Jared Goff. We're going to restructure him. He's our guy. We are thinking these offensive linemen can do some things. I am going to max out everybody. I'm going to max out Aleem, Panay, Amon-Ra, and Jared Goff, which is like, what, 100 million? And start shopping. Let's go. Okay, so you're going to spend a lot of money in free agency right now for the next 2 years. I got a 2-year plan, and I got to get a starting defensive end that's going to do the job. Maybe it's a Trey Hendrickson. Maybe it would be somebody else. You say, okay, I'm going to get him. Now you go, okay, I get that safety that you like. I get maybe Walker, the tackle from the Packers. I just start buying guys and saying, hey, these guys that can fit the mold and have recognition, have experience, and can play. I would have overspent on Linderbaum. I would have made one splash and said, you know what? If one of the guys, if I give Linderbaum 2 years at 30, maybe he takes it. Overspend. What's the difference? It's Tyler Linderbaum. He is arguably the number one guy at his position. So you guys can look up the rankings at every position. Get the number one guy. That's what the fans are looking at. Like, okay, the number 3 or 4 center is cute. That's nice. But Linderbaum went to the Raiders. If you would have called and made a real offer, he might have come here. Now you got your center, Linderbaum, probably better than Cade Mays. Now you're set for the next decade. You're good. You look at it and you say, all right, on defense, who are we going to target? You find somebody. You say, okay, Roy Lopez, what are you getting? Okay, we'll give you another $1 million. Why you let him leave the building? He produced for you. You can't let the guy leave. Pay him. Say, okay, you earned your contract. What are they paying you? Okay, we'll give you another year. Boom, you take care of him. You might even say, okay, let's just keep Al-Quadin Muhammad and give him his number. Say, you earned it, get a raise for 2 years, no problem. And then go out and look at some free agents that can also help you. Maybe a Chubb, maybe somebody else, maybe, somebody that you feel. It's in the end, what it is that it's just a little bit higher caliber than what you got. And we're still early. Those deals can still happen. But I feel like some players that the Lions are passing on are not based on talent. It's based on value and money. And I'm throwing that out the window. Just give it a shot and say, if we target you and you want a couple extra million, fine, no problem. And I feel like I feel like you guys can double check, but I know a name that I saw the fans want and I thought was good. Was it the safety Cross? I feel like got a 2-year contract and people were like, that's a safety that could have came here that you could have gotten. If I'm wrong, pardon me, but I feel like that's the name that just came across quite a bit, was a safety that you could have added. Or a Reed Blankenship. He was awesome. He was somebody. Or, okay, here's a whole different plan. So that's plan A. That doesn't work. Phillips got a nasty contract from the Panthers. That's a nasty contract. Fuck it. Do it. See what happens. He's injury prone. He's a Brad Holmes guy. Give him 31. What the hell's going to hurt? He gives you pressures. He's better, and you find it in the draft. Linderbaum, Phillips, Cross. Now we're set. Fan base is a little more comfortable. Add Walker to the mix as a tackle, and you get some free agents that people like, and you go, let's go. And if you're in cap hell, well, then fine. That's what happens. Then you go, dang it, all you offensive weapons that we trust, get your ass in gear and let's go, or you're going to be cut or traded or figure it out. So those are 4 guys right there. Aren't those 4 guys, wouldn't you say, as an average, half in the bag podcaster is a little better than what you did to this fan base? Come on, at least one of them. Pick one and say, listen, we're going to highlight this guy, even though we don't think he's like really great. We're going to highlight Cross and make him feel like he's the biggest thing in the world. Tomorrow, listen, I'm going to tell you guys here, it's late and it's fine. I revealed it on my podcast. So if anyone's listening, I apologize. Tomorrow, these 5 gentlemen or so, a combination of them, are going to meet with the media. I'm so busy, I can't even get out of my day to go. But I have no issue, because what are they going to say? I love being in Detroit. Dan Campbell's the best. This and that. Da-da-da-da-da. What are they going to say? I mean, Isaiah Pacheco, someone's going to ask him, are you faster than Jahmyr Gibbs? And they're going to be like, oh, okay. So to me, it's fine. It's safe. It's productive. But safe and productive, typically in the NFL, gets you to the playoffs, gets you to be cute like the Steelers. But the kings of the mountain, the guys like you two, and those that are thriving on YouTube and thriving in podcasts are risk takers. You know, you guys could have stayed on a network. You took a risk. I mean, you arguably, from my perspective, should have maybe stayed in a safe, comfy environment, in the comfy confines of a studio. But you guys said, well, we have respect for ourselves. We have value, and we need to try something on our own. And many blessings for you, because you set the tone for other jabrones like me to try it. So that's a simple analogy. Fortune favors the bold, and fortune favors the crazy. Those that are like looking at every metric and every number and every aspect of their show. Nobody's going to look at that and go, man, I don't like that. They're going to love it and respect it. Others can sit back and go, man, I'm good. I got my 20,000 followers and I can do this and that, and I can tweet all day long. You guys are like not happy with all the great success you got, and you're getting 6 super chats on an average Wednesday hump day. So that's how I view it, is that just throttle it up for this fan base. Let's go. This frenzy sucked in regards to the hype that was produced. There is less than no hype. I'm hyping up the team, telling my chat that's telling me 6-11 that this is a playoff team, but I'm not smelling the Super Bowl in my, analytical sphere. I'm smelling bourbon. I'm not smelling the Super Bowl right now. Give these guys more super chats. They're crushing it in hour number 9 broadcasting today.
Yeah, Doc, I guess with everything going on here with free agency, or the lack thereof, I guess, with the Lions, you kind of are in a position where Brad Holmes, and he always says he's you don't want to go into the draft with needs. We draft the best player available. It feels like this draft, Doc, you're kind of forced to just draft needs. And I'm going to be honest, I don't even know if the first round, if you really can, tackle's the obvious one, but you could say edge. Like, they're in a position where there's no way they go into the draft with 2 picks in the top 118, Doc. They have to find a way to get more picks in the top 100, because I don't know, you can't have, I think they have multiple fourths, couple fifths. Like, is this a scenario where going into the draft, this is probably, as much as I can remember, you've covered the Lions for this whole tenure, one of those, because at least in the TA draft, they drafted corners. They needed corners. They didn't have this many needs, Doc. This has got to be the biggest, like, most holes in a year. And we haven't, I know free agency isn't done, going into the draft period, the most holes on this football team today. Mm-hmm. Is that correct? That sounds correct.
Yeah, no. Very good question in terms of the holes and the number of what's going on. Listen, the way things are going, this is my 3rd glass. And listen, I know you want to maybe boot me off at 9, but I'm staying longer. I have a habit of doing my own thing and inviting myself wherever the hell I want to go.
Oh, no, you're hanging out, Doc.
Yeah, I'm hanging out. We're hanging out. This is glass number 3. And there's no ice in this. Today
it's your birthday, Doc.
It's my birthday. That's right. So I'm going to do it up and keep your ratings strong. That's my job. Are the ratings good? Keep the super chats coming. 6. We need 8, 9 super chats. Let's go. Get these guys paid.
And by the way, I didn't mean someone said since 2021. No, not since the rebuild year. I'm saying probably since they've been relevant. I would say since like the 12-5 year, for example, like after that year, this has got to be the most needs. I just want to correct that, because obviously year 1 they had a lot of needs. That's why they sucked. But for a team that had high expectations is what I mean. Most needs.
Now, okay. So cheers to everybody in the chat for a wonderful. This is, I think, going on now. I completed 2 years with y'all. I think I earned year 3, hopefully. But if you replace me with, I'm going to tell you who to replace me with. I have no problem saying it. I was browsing around the internet today, and I don't know her. I don't know anything about her, but I think she's got some good takes. I need to get Shelby in here as a guest. I think that she'll do great. I thought, listening to her takes, I was like, oh, okay. Who needs D-Mac? Who needs Neil? Put Shelby on the show. I was like, I could pay attention to what she's talking about. She made
Doc,
sense.
who the heck is Shelby?
Oh. Chat, tell these guys who is Shelby.
Clue who Shelby is.
Oh, man. You guys are so
I'm not
bad.
familiar. I'm not familiar.
You're not familiar with Shelby? Okay.
No, that's not us. I don't know who that is.
I will text you off the air, and I will I'll tell you who this fine young producer is, and what her role is and what she can do in the
Is she on like
community.
ESPN or something?
Listen. I am going to keep this respectful and keep it on
WFN?
crunch time. So you asked me a great question in regards to where this at. Realistically, the Lions assessed it and said, okay, our first 5-year window is over. And now we got to start retooling and adding young, hungry talent. So yes, there are a lot of needs, but they feel like they're confident that they can evaluate the draft and plug all those holes in the draft. You have Dan Jackson, you have opportunities to be able to plug these holes, but not to the degree that, you're hoping 3-4 of these draft picks can contribute at the highest level to be able to advance. But you're right. And so that's why, like you introed this segment with myself today, you said they're not going to say it, but it is leaning toward a non-spoken, and this is what makes you drink another swig of this, a non-spoken gap year, where get to the playoffs, take a swing, see what you got, and if you win it, great. But the real goal is another draft, another free agency in 2027 is probably the next year that you realistically can swing. It appears that way, that's the vision board is 2026 is, we ain't feeling it. 2027, if we plug some of these holes and some of these guys develop, now we get that next wave of young guys, the fourth year of Ratledge and Mahogany and Gibbs in his super prime and Jack Campbell, his full knowledge. So it is very much in line with what you said. I feel like it's an unspoken gap year and they got to plug as many holes as possible. That's the nature of the NFL, but they'll tell you that their confidence in the team is higher right now than the confidence that the fans have in the group.
Hey, Doc, do you think any of these extensions happen coming up here soon? I know usually around the NFL draft week is when they happen. How do you think there's going to maybe be, they wait on Sam Laporta, wait on Brian Branch, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell? Those are the three guys I think who are extension eligible. How do you think they approach that here coming up?
Yeah, the chat brought it up. So here's the joy of being the doc. And the joy that I have, my drive is to be everywhere and do everything and get my name out there all day, every day, despite what people think about it. But as a reporter, I don't travel. So you guys want to know, March 30th is a Monday, correct? The NFC coaches at the owners meeting will talk Monday the 30th. The AFC coaches talk the next day, that Tuesday. It's in Arizona. I was thinking about going. That's the next time Brad will talk, unless one of his friends, I think that a guy that he respects is Field Yates. He might show up on his podcast. Hell, maybe I should next week say, hey, it's my birthday. I'll just lie and say, Lions, it's my birthday, and I want to talk to Brad Holmes. They'll be like, yeah, no. But we'll see. Monday the 30th is when he'll speak next. So you heard it from the doc. And it's the owners' meetings. And so you have an opportunity. I want to go, right? And so I'm like, okay, I'm telling my wife, okay, I think I want to go. But listen, here's the cons for me. By the time March 30th hits, I've hit all my numbers. All the revenue is great. It's all profit. It's good. I can pay the guys. I'm happy. I'm very happy. I celebrate my birthday. I can stay home. But I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking about it. I'm amping myself up because I fly once or twice a year. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to book it. Or I'll take a train. It can be like a mini vacation. It's like a 100-hour train ride. It's like $150. I can enjoy the world and escape and do the thing. And I'm like, you know what the first video I see is on the internet? And it always happens because I think the microphone picks up that I'm talking about airplanes. The first video I see is some nonsense going on in Nashville where the people are like, head down, hands up, head down, hands up. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. With what's going on in the world, I'm like, heads down, hands up, Doc is dead. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not going. Fuck it. I don't care. It's not worth it to me.
Jesus, Doc.
I'm like, fuck it. I'm not doing it. I can't do it. I'm not, listen, it takes me months to prep to fly. So I'm like, I've never gone to the owners meetings. I've never gone once. And it's another NFL convention that I want to see. I would love to go and just sit there. Mr. Eric DaCosta, why did you back out of that Max Crosby deal again? You're telling me that you were flirting with Trey while Max was there? And then I go to Mr. John Spytek and going, what? How does it feel to get played by the Ravens in your first year. I mean, it was so fun. There could be so much content. It'd be so great. But I'm a puss, and I have a thing with planes. And of course, every time, it's always clockwork. Every time I'm planning a trip, some weird plane video hits, whether it be some fight on Spirit, some 20-hour delay where some lady can't get her dog on the plane or forgets her kid. And I'm just like, I can't deal with this. I love drives. So sorry, guys. I will not be grilling and inquiring with Brad and Dan at the owners' meetings. But the good media in Detroit will. It'll be televised, and it's good. But to me, it's not worth it because I've already met it's March 11th. I've already met every March goal I need for me to be good. So I'm very happy. You guys are crushing it, reading the content and supporting me. So that's that case for you guys. But the extensions, listen, Brad loves his guys. I expect that all four will have discussions. And I think Gibbs will get it. And that'll suck. And I'm not happy with that. I am just of the opinion.
Yeah, can you explain, by the way, can you explain that Gibbs take? Because me and you agree on that. And I was explaining it during my live stream, but can you give your side to why you think like that? Because when people hear that, they're like, you're an asshole, et cetera. Why do you think like that?
Well, yeah, I am an asshole, but it's just the way it is. I'm a nice asshole. But the way you look at it is this. You have Jahmyr Gibbs. He's set. He can't go anywhere. Excuse me. He can't go anywhere. He's under contract for this year and next year. You give him the 5th-year option, you're good. Cheaper. Everything's good. And then you have him for another year with what's called a franchise tag. So you have an opportunity to use the techniques to keep a player through the league. Use them. And the franchise tag this year, if you look it up factually, Booner, the franchise tag for a running back this year is $13 million. So by the time it hits in a couple years, it'll be $16 million. I don't want to pay Jahmyr $21 million because then I can't get a Jalen Phillips. I can't even talk about a Trey Hendrickson, a Max Crosby. We can't talk about it because eventually you got all your guys taking up all the money. So eventually I'm starting to pay hardball with a couple positions. What positions am I playing hardball in? The ones you can replace. Wide receiver. You didn't have to pay JMO. You could have used techniques. You get the franchise tag every year. Every single year. You can do that to someone. It's not nice. It's not the model that you got to, make all the players love you that you draft, but you got to play hardball to be able to, the point of the mission, and this is where the fan base in this town is so smart, is to gather as many good players as humanly possible. When you pay Jahmyr Gibbs, you automatically take one good player that could be off the board from free agency. You take him off the board, you can't do it. And I just am not a fan of paying a guy more when you have him under your control. He is a player that you can have affordably. Run, give him all the touches he needs. He's well compensated. He's fine. And you just replace him in 2027. It's simple as that, or 2028. And you're fine. And you can find a talent. But the Lions are a little different. And I just think that if you're going to do it, fine. Only 2 players. I'm sorry. Draft Kenyon Sadiq and tell Sam Laporta, I'm sorry, man. When your back goes, so does the money. And I'm sorry to Brian Branch. When your Achilles goes, I'm sorry. So does the money. I'm sorry. Get me Kenyon Sadiq. And I sent it to you guys, and I'm sorry if I didn't. But my thinking has always been this way. And luckily, when I heard it, I'm like, yeah, this is the business of the NFL. Mike Vrabel has a successful year, wins, and handles business. And he's like, I think I sent it to you. If not, I sent it to somebody else. But it was, listen, this is the new year. We don't sit on our laurels. It's a new year. We got a whole new challenge. And this league, me as a coach and our staff, we're looking for younger, bigger, faster, and cheaper. And my players are trying to not make that happen. That's the business of the NFL. Cheap, baby. That's how you win, is to keep the budget low and then spend on the best players possible so that now the Lions, let's say, when you look at it, they have 23 good players. What's wrong with 33 good players, in my humble opinion? And you can't do that when you pay a running back. I'm sorry. It's not that way in this league. You need to keep costs down. And what the Lions do, they pay a quarterback $50 million when you could obviously pay a quarterback $35 to win. And everybody that's extension eligible, let's do it early. That's the word none of the fans in this town like. Why are you doing it early? You did Kermit Joseph early. You did J-Mo early. Nobody in this town likes to spend early. Do it when you need to and help this team out. So to me, fine. We got to compromise. Jack and Jameer, if you're going to do it, fine. You can sell it to some slappies. But in the end, it's going to hurt you because there is a cap. You can't spend unlimited amount of money. And so to me, that's my, I guess, now it comes to fruition on the third glass. I don't love Brad Holmes' players as much as he does. I love external free agents who've shown things on tape, and I'm willing to overpay them. That's where I'm at today. That's all. If you can ball, I'll pay you more than you're worth. Brad is a little different.
Hey, Doc, by the way, I mean, I know it's your birthday. I know you're having a drink here, and you probably want to go relax after this. I don't know if it got put out on your website or what yet, but and maybe it did. I just haven't. We've been live here the last hour, but the Lions did not bring back Trevor Nowatzki or Tom Kennedy. They just announced it. Just got announced about an hour ago around 8 o'clock. So that's shocking to me. I think the Trevor Nowatzki I think Trevor Nowatzki was a piece, especially on the special teams, where if you're trying to go younger and cheaper, that's a cheap linebacker depth, especially if you just let Anza walk, and you're going to probably let Grant Stewart walk. So, I mean, if you're talking about special teams wise, you need those guys. You just lost another defensive player that played snaps for you last year.
Right.
It's a weird. They just keep letting defensive players go. People can act like that doesn't matter, but these defensive players that played for you just keep walking, and you haven't signed anyone.
You want some inside baseball from a digital content creator with a website? Or yes or no?
Let's hear it.
Okay, so great question. That story is sitting right here in my computer right now. It's typed, but I have not pushed publish on it. You want to know why? Let me hit this button here. I'm going to tell you why I didn't push publish yet. I'll tell you why. Inside baseball. So it's sitting right here. I'm actually working on it. It's almost done. I'll show you the headline and everything. It's kind of funny. I'll give you the early preview. See? It's right here. You can see the preview. See? Those are the guys. Lions do not tender these guys. So here's what happens in this world. Just like you guys are on top of everything, I'm on top of everything too. Wednesday is theoretically, for the last 8 years, the slowest day on the site, but free agency has been great. We hit our numbers way early. You guys are bombing the site. It's amazing. So I looked at the numbers and I was like, oh man, this is good. Free agency to me. And if you guys remember, I asked you, I hope you guys are meeting your goals. Cause what it meant to me was I know to the second how I play. I don't reveal the full nature of what I do, but I know to the second what's read, how much is read, how many words, where it's at, where people leave, how many videos they watch, how many stories they read. I know it all. I'm a trained professional. So Wednesday's the slowest day of the week for me consistently. I don't know why. We do good content, but Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, great numbers. Wednesday, I don't know. Maybe it's true. It's hump day. Y'all humping and not paying attention to the website. So what happens is stories that, and I think others have not released it too, but one. What happens is I can chamber that till tomorrow morning, and that'll be the first story I think that goes up tomorrow, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., whenever I wake up hungover, and it'll go up, and a certain amount will read it, and I'm happy. So, yeah, if I publish it today, if I would have published it at 8 o'clock, a certain amount would read it. I want to maximize the time that I do in stories and the beautiful videos I create every day. So it'll be maximized by being released tomorrow. People will read it. It'll be awesome. And it's a good story. It'll be information laden, and you can check it out. But it's chambered. It's ready to go. It's just I haven't pushed publish yet because I said, you know what? On March 11th, my birthday, I will choose to talk with the fellas, share a laugh, banter, and I can wait for the story to go out till tomorrow. So that's how it goes. And that's the story. Now, what was the question again, my brother?
I was just asking about getting rid of those guys.
Oh, yeah, getting rid of those guys. Yes. Listen now, great question. They're not gotten rid of. Their contract, if they would have been tendered, an RFA contract would have been worth and I'm actually telling you the story. So that's how great readership is. I can literally tell you word for word, all 400 words. And tomorrow there's a whole community of people that will read it. That's the blessing of this job is, people still don't understand that if I push publish, X amount of people are going to read it no matter what. And it's a joy. It's the joy of my life that this happened to me. Tom Kennedy and Trevor Nowatzki can talk to Brad Holmes about a new contract, but it's going to be cheaper. So they don't want to pay Tom Kennedy $3.5 million. They don't want to pay Trevor Nowatzki $3.5 million. So what will happen is if they choose to stay, if they negotiate with the Lions, their contract will be less, but they're free to go somewhere else too. So that's what happens in this business, is that the role players take less money. That's just the way it is. I think Kennedy, the dude's a career role player Lion, but he didn't earn his raise yet. And so maybe he has a chance, when he comes back on a 1-year deal, league minimum, or $2 million, $1 million, whatever it is. And I think Nowatzki has a chance to have some interest. I would think Kennedy is my favorite to return, but I think both have a strong chance. The Lions like them both, but they'd like them and actually, we talk about what we want the Lions to do, but let's at least acknowledge what the Lions are doing. Brad Holmes and Steve Yzerman are bad mofos. You know what I mean? In that they say, Booner, you're worth 25 cents. And Booner's like, I'm worth 32 cents. And he's like, Booner, you're worth 24 cents. And they stick to that number like a glove. They ain't moving off of it. They give you the number and they tell you what it is. They're straight up with it. They there's a little wiggle room here and there, but he's like Steve Yzerman. He ain't trying to pay a player a penny more than he wants to pay. I respect it. I don't agree with it, but he's got a number, and the Lions are not in the business of overpaying. And I'll give him credit. Most of the contracts, reasonably, when you look at it, dude, J-Mo's contract is way better than Alec Pierce's. Awesome. Amon-Ra's contract is way better than all the escalating contracts. So in the end, while we yell about paying their own, relatively speaking, they end up being okay. The problem is all the savings end up going to more of the same guys. Whereas the strategy should be, okay, we've paid a bunch of our own guys. Let's pay a bunch of other guys and let's see what happens. But I respect a principle of, hey, this is our plan and we're going to stick to it. But on our side, we're saying, wait a minute, this plan seems like it has a ceiling. And another plan has shown that F them picks has worked for certain people. And it's actually, when we say Brad, be aggressive, it's not disrespectful. It's actually the ultimate form of respect. We're telling Brad Holmes, we like what you can pick. Pick someone that has talent, but just overpay them externally and get as many good players as possible. We feel like this mix is good. Externally could be better, but he sticks to his guns, and I respect him on that level for it.
Well, Doc, we got a couple of these super chats I want to get to. You already answered this one, but Dio, appreciate the $2. Happy birthday, Doc. When's Brad's next presser? You
Monday, March 30th. Check YouTube. It'll hit, and all the beat writers that go down there will sit intimately, and they'll craft their questions. And here's what they're going to ask. I'll tell you what they're going to ask. Brad, your free agency strategy seemed to hit a lot of your holes. Did you fill all the holes that you needed this year? Yeah. What did you like about Isaiah Pacheco? What did you like about Cade Mays? How comfortable are you now that you got Cade Mays? Oh man, my goodness. What does Drew Scruggs bring to the table? I mean, it's good, but I need someone to hit him with, like, were you in on Trey Hendrickson? When Max Crosby fell through the cracks with the Ravens, did you call? Did you try? And then he'll say, listen, I know, out of respect for the process, I cannot tell you that. But then the next question would be, do you understand why the fans really wanted those type of players, and why is the defensive end spot still a huge hole? So it'll be fine. I just don't feel like, because you're trying to get information, but he's trying to also not reveal his draft plans. So it'll be interesting, but it'll be Monday, March 30th. If I'm right, if I'm wrong, I believe the owners meeting starts on Sunday. All the people navigate down to Arizona. I believe Monday is the NFC and Tuesday is the AFC. And that's the way it goes.
We also have, let's see, Matt here. Matt says the thing that pisses me off is Brad says he makes calls on these big names, but when it doesn't work, we end up with the bottom of the barrel talent.
Yeah, it's
the old I called.
Listen, and listen, you guys know I listen to everybody. I respect everybody. I read everybody. The one headline that just bothered me all week was from a competitive site, and they were like, "Here are some bargain bin tight ends, and here are some bargain bin edge rushers." And I'm like, good job. That word is triggering, and I hate it. That's like, I'm not. And we use different word. We use realistic, affordable, mid-tier. But bargain bin, it should piss you off, because I feel like maybe the Lions are closer with that offensive talent than maybe they think, but maybe they're more realistic and not slappies and thinking that, let's just plug some holes this year, get to the playoffs, get our contract, we'll feel better, and we'll push it in 2027. We'll see.
And then we have also shout out Ja. Happy birthday, Doc. Doc 79. I like the ring of that.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Ja. Appreciate you, man. That's awesome.
He also said, Doc, not to mention TSA hasn't been paid in a month.
Exactly. I
actually just flew this weekend, Doc. It was fine, but I also have a weird fear sometimes of getting on those airplanes. It's actually not bad. It wasn't bad. It was fine.
Yeah. It's always good. It's the safest form of travel. I get all that, but it's just all mental, which is crazy because I'm paid to help people get on planes and I know all the tools. But in the end, I'm a sucker, and all I do is I just pop a Xanax and the butterflies go away. That's what I do. But it's not the flight. It's all the thinking beforehand. Like if I have to book the flight now, I already missed the deadline, so I didn't apply. The deadline was Monday, and I'm so thankful it passed. So I can't go. I cannot be credentialed. I'm happy. And I'm not going. And like I said, to me, it's an expense. I'd make some money on it. I'd make some money on the proposition, but in the end, I made enough. I'm happy. I met my month's goals already. I'm good. So I'm happy. This is all gravy to me. And I just don't like anything that makes me uncomfortable. Listen, my job is to type, create, talk football. My job is not to worry about what the hell's going on in the world. Doc, you're absolutely right.
I got it. Doc, you're all absolutely right. That's why 23 and 24 and missing the Super Bowl was such a travesty. Your core was on rookie deals.
Right.
That was their window. That was their window, Doc.
23 was the window. 23 was your 2025 Seattle team. That's what it was. And now you got to reply and get after it. And you got to do it. You got to retool and rebuild. I trust Brad Holmes to do it, but dang it, man, we're not patient. Nobody wants to be patient. We want to win now. Yesterday. I want to win yesterday. I'm 47 now. Pretty soon, this old man's going to be 50, and I want to see one. I want to cover a Super Bowl as a media member. I want to hang out with you guys at the Super Bowl. I want to go on press row and see Booner ask Dan Campbell, does he play chess, or does he play table tennis, or does he play paddleball, or whatever the new game is that people are doing that's not real tennis. So I want to have all that fun in this business, and that's the final straw. I've done it all. That next step is to cover the Lions in the Super Bowl.
Also, Doughboy Steve, Doc should ask my psychiatrist for Xanax so I can ignore all these Fing bitch fans.
I'm sorry. I probably riled them all up. Yeah, hell yeah. Ask them for Xanax. So here's what you tell them. You tell them, look, it's not terrible, but my anxiety, you got to use the number 7. My anxiety is a 7 out of 10. And I feel like it would help me and just only give me like a week's worth. And you can start your process with Xanax, but only take it as needed. That stuff's addicting. And what you got to do is you got to face it, or the simple thing you got to do is click off the stream for a couple hours. Watch. The fans are telling me to watch Spaceballs. I've been watching a lot of Netflix and doing other stuff, watching movies with the missus. So I detach at the right amount. I like podcast and I love professional wrestling. So you got to detach. So what I'll tell you to do about the bitching Lions fans, this week is the Champions League soccer. There's so much going on. Michigan hoops is doing great. The Tigers, you can check out Max Clark and his 25 chains and his young ignorance going all over the internet. You can check that out. You can yell at the Tigers for sending Tariq Skubal over there. You can check in on the Pistons, who are in the midst of a losing streak. And you can check on the Red Wings, who are going to collapse. Just so much in Detroit sports. Take a break from the Lions for one day and check in Detroit sports. There's a lot of good shit going on.
There's this question, Combat Sec. List top 3 order needs in order.
For sure. Safety, linebacker, offensive tackle. And then defensive end, you're going to fill it. So I'll put defensive end, knowing that it's there. It's in the mix.
Well, there you go. Well, we appreciate you, Doc. You guys can check
yeah.
out the Doc.
How did I do? Did I do a good job? Half in the bag. Did I do a good job? Did I crush it?
Pouring some drinks. You did a great job. Honestly, I couldn't even tell.
So now,
I couldn't even tell.
Okay, now let's handle business. There is a situation that we got going on that we got to address right here, right now. What the fuck? You guys are invading my time slot at 7 o'clock. All I hear is Booner's on the air. I'm like, what the fuck? Their show starts at 8. And they're like, they're on the air right now. I'm like, they've been on the fucking air for 25 hours.
Well, I'll tell you this, Doc. I'll tell you this.
You guys are a bunch of hypocrites. I want to say this. Let the old ass man have 7 to 7:45, and then I also acquiesce to your dumbass request that you send me in the middle of the day. Let's
wait, hold on, Doc.
Let's barter a truce. Let me have 7 to 7:45, and now I might go to 8:05,
8:20,
but let's barter the agreement.
8:30.
You're running in on my time, guys. What the fuck?
Doc, it's free agency week. It's free agency week.
So the rule is you just do whatever the fuck you want free agency week. Then I want the same thing.
We were live from noon to 9 p.m. every day.
How much fucking airtime these guys need? I'm only asking for 7.
Hey, like you said, Doc, you got to worry about your own show. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, we're head down, okay. Worried.
Head down, worry about my own show. Deal. We bartered a deal. I can handle that. Love you guys.
Happy birthday, Doc. Hope you had an amazing one.
Hopefully I earned year 3. You know, guys, I love you guys.
Oh, of course.
Whatever happens,
love you, Doc.
You know I love you. I love you.
Yeah, no, I love you too.
Most
Doc.
definitely.
There you go.
I love you, Doc. Happy birthday as well. People love him.
The myth, the legend, DOC. By the way, someone asked a question here, and I've seen this question. Burning Issues dropped this before. Mailbag, who has done better running their franchise draft free agency re-signing, Jerry Jones or Brad? And why is it closer than we like?
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't even like the fact that Jerry Jones and Brad Holmes is in the same sentence. And the fact that we're in a spot right now as Lions fans, that's actually like a real conversation is, I hate that, dude. This sucks.
I'm not gonna go that far and say Jerry Jones but I'll say this: they have the Cowboys, believe it, they've drafted a lot of good players. I know people don't want to admit that, but they've drafted some good players. Where they've messed up is like the other areas, like re-signing Zeke to a big bag.
Well, no, I'll say this too. I think one thing that they messed up pretty bad is signing their guys, where they'd like get into these battles with guys where they don't re-sign the right guys. They always re-sign the wrong. Yeah. Where Brad, it's kind of opposite Brad. Brad's like, I'll re-sign anyone. Anyone I drafted that's good, you get your bag. Where Jerry's like, yeah, I don't know. We're going to franchise tag you twice and maybe you'll get a long-term deal.
Yeah, it's like they signed Trevon Diggs, but they don't re-sign Micah Parsons. It's like it's like shit like that. Like it's like what how? Doesn't make sense. Jaw, appreciate the 5. Doc's doing the Kevin Samuels refresh and fit against crunch time, complaining about kind of time slots. Yeah.
Listen, on a normal week, I mean, Doc knows we go 8 to 10. So when he goes to 8:15, 8:30, it's like, Doc, we're live. For franchise or free agency week, for years we go live. 2 years now we've gone live all day long. That's just
Xavier says mailbag 2 non-flash signings that would make you feel better about free agency.
Well, I think Joey Bosa would be a good one. I think that's a good start. And I'll tell you what, I'm at the point now. You need to sign a linebacker. You've got Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, Rodrigo, but like you need to get another linebacker in here. The Trevor Nowatzki thing, obviously he could probably resign. He's a hometown kid, so maybe he comes back. But either way, even without that, I think you need a linebacker, man. Losing Anzo, I don't know if you can fully trust one of these guys to step into Anzo's spots.
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at the linebackers. It's thin. It's really thin. I mean, you have like. And
it was one of your deepest position groups.
No, it's thin. I'm saying free agency, it's thin.
Like I thought you were talking about
Dre.
Yeah.
It's the Lions are thin, and it's thin in free agency because like Dre Greenlaw, I guess, is like he's up there. Bobby Wagner at 36. Kenneth Murray, Matt Milano. after injuries. It's not great, man. It's not great. I'm looking at these linebackers. Ugh.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a.
It's really edge, to be honest. I'll tell you this: if I can give you two guys, I'll give you an edge. I'm with you. I mean, if you get a guy like a Bosa or like a Cam Jordan or Clowney would be one that I really like. And then honestly, I think the other position when looking at free agency, I think you could probably go grab a safety still that could come in and play.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
Because right now, like Kirby, I don't know what's going on, and Brian's not going to be here. So what do you have? Daniel Thomas, all due respect, playing safety. Daniel Thomas. It's like, dude, maybe they can get Geno Stone. I like Geno Stone. Was with the Bengals. Something
It's
like
just,
that.
yeah, maybe. I think just with these, like, you got to sign someone on defense. Someone just put in the chat. I didn't see it. It's gone now. Someone just put in there. It's like, I don't mind you letting these people, like these players, walk, but you have to make an addition to be able to, subside with it. And you haven't. You've literally just let a million defensive players walk, and you've brought no one in to replace. So it's such a weird. And again, like to your point, like especially like the linebacker room, you've let two linebackers walk now, and you haven't brought any in. And it's not like outside of Jack Campbell, that linebacker core was the greatest in the NFL last year. And you're essentially just hoping that guys step up. I think that's a problem that we get into a little bit on this Lions defense. It's like, hopefully guys step up. And then when guys don't, you're like, well, they were injured. Like it's such a.
Well, someone said it earlier. It's like you're signing depth. You don't have, when you had the guys you're resigning came in when guys were injured and you weren't good. So it's like,
yeah, like you're just essentially bringing in the guys that last year lost you. Like when people complain about the defense, like on Twitter, I'll put the stuff out about the defense, and a lot of the comments, well, you were hurt. The guys that stepped in because other guys were hurt, you're signing those guys to start for you now, essentially. And you haven't signed anyone else to go in front of them to upgrade. That's the concern. And I think it's a real concern for people. And if someone tries to tell you, oh, no, it's not, trust Brad, like, no, don't listen to him. It's a legit concern.
I don't even know what you do at 17 at this point. I mean, you have to go tackle.
But you need defensive guys now. You're in such a weird spot.
And I think they brought it up on Lions Collective too. Like in Brad's tenure, he hasn't really traded back.
Yeah, once.
Except for Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
Usually it's been trading up. Usually he trades up to get guys. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope maybe tomorrow and Friday, hopefully things get better. I don't know. Hopefully
it's just so weird. And too, like, you're getting to a point to where you need to fill holes in the draft, and that's not Brad Holmes. Like, I think it's just so evident. You saw the first 2 years, he just went BPA, and dude, he drafted so well. And then like after the NFC Championship game, like everyone in the world knew that you needed corner. Like corners was kind of a hole on your team with Kendall Vildor, and there was someone else too, Jerry Jacobs, and everyone knew that, right? And then Brad goes and drafts back-to-back corners, but knowing that he usually goes BPA, and he went need. And the fact that he went need, he drafted two guys that have not been that great for you. And then you missed out on, maybe better players. And then this last year, like, you're thinking, well, DJ Reader's about to be up. Roy Lopez is on a one-year deal. We need a defensive tackle. Oh, so let's get Tyleek. We like him. We're going to reach on him because we need a D tackle, and we're going to be worried that he's not going to be there. We need a starter here coming up. And you pass on like a Jahad Campbell, and then you let Alex Anzalone walk, and now you don't have a linebacker, and you extend Derek Barnes. Like, there are better players, and if he goes BPA, and he truly goes BPA the last two seasons, this roster looks a lot different, in my opinion. And if he again, like, he talks about filling needs in the free agency, correct, Jeff? Mm-hmm. Then why didn't he 2 years ago when he went and got Carlton? Why didn't he drafting Terrion? Why didn't he go get another corner in free agency if that's the way he looks at it? Why did he go the two back-to-back corners? There's no way those back-to-back corners were BPA. There's just no way possible. And he traded for Carlton Davis, and then he also drafted two corners. It's like he he overdoes it sometimes when there are needs. It's the thing with the wide receiver thing. Like, oh, I'm going to draft JMO. I'm going to trade up for JMO. Then I'm going to extend him. And then I'm also going to trade third round picks for Isaac Tesla. It's like, dude, you just overdid it at that position. Now you're worried about other positions you can't do anything because you don't have 3 third-round picks. Defensive tackle, it's like we just extended Aleem. Oh, let's get a first-round defensive tackle when next year we're going to need another linebacker and we're going to need a left tackle and we're going to need a center. Let's just go get D tackle even though we just extended one. Mm-hmm. So you're overdoing it in specific position or positions. And you're not trusting your gut like you did the first 2 years. Like I don't know. It's an odd thing that's happened over
Campbell
the last.
Would be incredible right now.
It would change this significantly. Or even if you go look at the TA draft, like there's probably a couple of guys that you can look and be like, hey, instead of TA, we go into the free agency and we grab a corner and we roll with a free agent corner and Carlton Davis, and we have a different we have a left tackle maybe out of that draft class.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll be live tomorrow. I'll probably be live tomorrow again. So we'll stick it out tomorrow. So come hang out. Until tomorrow, we will catch you all. See you.
See you guys. Love you guys.